When we first saw the Fronx at Auto Expo, it just looked like a slightly beefed up Baleno. We only caught a glimpse of it over there, but having spent some time with it, it is time to look at what is the difference between the Fronx and the Baleno. And let me tell you that there's a lot. I'm Vikram Gore, you're watching Motor Scribes, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the differences that you will find between the Fronx and the Baleno. Starting with the obvious, we can look at the design of the Fronx and the Baleno. Both vehicles are absolutely apart from one another. There's very little in terms of similarity that you might see with the vehicles, and that's predominantly because they are based on the same platform. But with the Fronx, Maruti has gone for a more SUV styling, and it actually borrows more from the Grand Vitara in terms of styling cues, which makes it stand out. So the Fronx looks closer to the Vitara. It's got a more upright stance. It's got a nice flatter bonnet, a more squared off front, and even the rear has a lot more edges to it as compared to the latest version of the Baleno. Both of them do ride on 16-inch alloys, but the Fronx has a higher ground clearance, again going with its more upright SUV sort of profile that Maruti is targeting the market with. So the Fronx is your urban SUV, the Baleno is your premium hatchback. So there's no mistaking one for the other. If they were parked right next to each other, you could really see the difference. And with that, that's really pretty much the summary on what the Fronx is and the Baleno is in terms of design. Coming to the cabin, the layout is very similar. So once you are inside, you would have a harder time telling the two apart. But I think that little burgundy insert in the Fronx does give it a slightly more premium appeal, and does give it that little bit of change as compared to the Baleno. So that's the other fact that you get with these two. So the interiors are very similar, and features are very similar. So you've got the heads-up display, you've got a nice large Smart Play Pro plus infotainment system. All the bells and whistles remain pretty much the same. So the cabin is very similar. I've said this in my review as well. And on that note, there's actually not too much that puts the Fronx and the Baleno apart. But under the hood is actually where you do get quite a bit of difference. So the Fronx comes with two engine options. So you've got the 1.2 liter dual jet VVT petrol engine that makes about 89 PS of power and 113 Newton meters of torque. And then you get the 1 liter booster jet engine that does about 100 PS of power and 147 Newton meters of torque. Now, the Baleno just gets the 1.2 liter dual jet VVT petrol that is tuned to that 89 PS power output, which is similar to the Fronx. So it is the 1 liter that is different, and that is definitely something that you could consider when you're looking at making a purchase decision. Do you want an urban SUV? Do you want a premium hatchback? Is it more about performance and power, or are you looking for all-around usability? The Baleno also gets a CNG option, which currently is not there on the Fronx. So that is again something that you would want to consider when you're looking at engine options and what's out there between the Baleno and the Fronx. Speaking about engines, the other big difference that comes in there, especially when it comes to making a buying decision, is mileage. Now, the Baleno actually scored slightly better. The 1.2 liter engine Baleno with a manual transmission returns about 22.35 kilometers to the liter, while the AMT does 22.94. The CNG variant does 30 kilometers per kilogram of CNG consumed. The Fronx 1 liter manual does 21.5 kilometers to the liter, while the automatic 1 liter does 20. The 1.2 MT does 21.79, which is a little lower than the 22.94 that the Baleno does. So that again is a significant change over there. Obviously, those little kilometer differences do add up over your complete ownership of the vehicle. So it is, again, another element that you want to consider. The Fronx also gets, the 1 liter gets paddle shifts. So that's something that's different. That's with the automatic, and it's a proper 6-speed automatic. The Baleno in turn comes with AMT version. So that is also a difference for you to take into consideration out there. As far as pricing is concerned, the Fronx pricing is not out yet, but the Baleno is priced between 6.6 lakhs to about 10 lakhs, and we expect the Fronx to be, a little higher. It might be between the 7 lakh to the 11 lakh range, and not too much of a difference there, especially when you look at it from the absolute EMI sort of setup. You're going to get it financed, you're going to look at buying it. It's going to make a difference, that's not as significant as the entire 1 lakh that it sounds on paper. But having said that, these are the key differences over here. And if you're looking at making a purchase decision between the Baleno and the Fronx, it boils down to what are you looking for in terms of style, what are you looking for in terms of performance, and what are you looking for in terms of efficiency. So while both are great products, they're both Nexa products. You can see them both in the showroom together very soon. I would urge you to actually walk in, take a look at both, take your family along and see which one suits your requirement better. For me personally, I really enjoyed the Fronx. I think the 1 liter booster jet is a nice peppy piece of machinery, and it would be the choice for me if I had to pick between the Fronx and the Baleno. Well, with that, I hope you have a better understanding of the difference between the Fronx and the Baleno and why they're as far apart as apples from oranges, despite having the same platform. So I hope I've answered that query for you. I hope I've answered those doubts for you. In case there's anything left unturned, please do feel free to leave a comment behind on this video, and I will definitely get back to you. That's a commitment of mine that I make to all my viewers. I answer all the questions that come in on the Motorscribes channel. So please feel free to send in your query, and you will hear from me. On that note, don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. It's always great having you being a more engaging member of the Motorscribes family. And by subscribing, you get to stay in touch with us and know what we're up to and get those notifications on time to tell you what's coming out next.